the first thing I was curious about watching the other trailer, I didn't see this new one, but is what kind of went into the fact that, on Invincible, what makes it great is that everybody has such different powers, such varied powers. So how are you going to work that into the game, which is just essentially a punch kind of thing?
Everybody in the game is going to have very unique fighting sets and very unique moves, but also even down to the movement of different characters is one of the things that's really great about the Quarter Up team is that they're putting a tremendous amount of work in making sure that all of the individual characters have their own unique everything. So just the play style that so that you can build your teams of 3 with characters. They have names for them. I don't know those names, but they all move in different ways. They move at different speeds. They do they have different features, and all of that is in line with the way the characters are portrayed in the comics and the video game. So a tremendous amount of care is going to that, which is really cool in my opinion.
I'll go next since I was sitting here. Roland Bishop, Games Radar Plus. Why a fighting game? You talked a little bit in the panel about how obviously monetary considerations about what kind of game to make.
Sure.
But doing this internally.
Open world games are expensive.
Yes,
I will say.
Are. Why a fighting game? Why
Has anyone heard the budget for Grand Theft Auto 6? It's like 3 Trey Parker and Matt Stone deals. Go ahead.
Why a fighting game? Obviously, there have been some. What was it? The Atomic Eve, the visual novel kind of thing as well, but
I love fighting games. I was at the arcade playing the first Mortal Kombat. I was at the arcade playing Street Fighter 2. Like in the 90s, getting the Super Nintendo or the Genesis where you actually got the Mortal Kombat Blood. I played Primal Rage. I played Time Killers. I was there at the birth of fighting games. Tekken. Used to love playing Tekken. All the different, Soul Calibur and various different versions of that game. I just think they're great, and I think that they're a really great showcase for a large number of characters. When you have an open world game, you're kind of playing as that one character. You may encounter the other characters, but you don't get to play as them. So I think as far as showcasing the Invincible universe and showcasing all of the different characters that encompass it, fighting games are ideal for that. But aside from that, it's just a genre of game that I absolutely love. Would I have preferred to do a Mario game with Invincible characters? Maybe. I love platformers too. But yeah, I think that this is by far as our first marquee big in scale game. I think that the fighting game made the most sense, and I think is going to be the most satisfying for fans.
Robert, since Invincible characters like Omni-Man have been guest characters in other game series like Mortal Kombat, is it possible there could be maybe some guest characters in this game?
I think it's too early to talk about that. I mean, I think anything is possible at this point. The game is still, a ways away from releasing, and so there could be some surprises in store. But, nothing that could be announced right now.
I'm always fascinated when it comes to the production behind the scenes pieces. The music for the animated series has really been a highlight, and I was curious to know how the music element is being addressed in the game. Is it more, cinematic in style? Are you using the same music team from the series for the game? What's the approach?
I think the approach is somewhat different, because it's a video game, but I will say that, I don't think I can say that. I honestly don't know what I can say, so I'm just going to say the music in the show is very cool. The music in the game is also going to be very cool. So don't worry, it's going to be awesome.
Okay, I'll ask you a different question then. You're channeling your inner Spaceballs. You've got Invincible the video game, Invincible the card game. Are we going to see Invincible the flamethrower? What comes next? But how is it getting to see the characters evolve into different mediums beyond the original comic?
I'm not going to rest until there's an Invincible toaster, Invincible refrigerator. Once you get to the appliance game, I think that's when it's really the marquee level. So yeah, I don't know. I think that if you look at the approach to merchandising with Walking Dead, we're certainly open to a lot of things. I think that as a fan of things myself, when there's more ways to experience that thing, You know, as a fan, I get excited about that. You know, I had Transformers slippers when I was a kid. I had a Transformers bathrobe. You know, so I'm always open to doing that stuff. But we do try to make sure that it all makes sense and there's an audience for everything that we do. And yeah, so yeah, there'll probably be a lot of crazy Invincible stuff. Every now and then, I will. You know, wholeheartedly dive headfirst into a licensing opportunity because I think it's funny. You know, I think that's fun. I think that's the kind of thing that makes life worth living. So, you know, every now and then, you know, maybe you'll see an Invincible Frisbee or boomerang and be like, who does a boomerang? And it's like, I just thought that was funny. So we did it. So yeah.
How does the collaborative process work in terms of this adaptation versus all the other Invincible adaptations? What is kind of your input, or how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same. That's kind of the beauty of you know, having Skybound and having, you know, the game be an in-house production, having the animated series be an in-house production. Myself, Corey, and Ryan are very hands-on with all aspects of Invincible. The three of us are, you know, approving every aspect of every bit of licensing, the video games, the television show. Like we're very involved. So with this game in particular, I don't know, like everything to the key art that gets released when we're announcing characters, you know, we're approving all of that stuff. Every single poly design and, you know, the rough initial designs to like the final polish where, you know, oh, I think this guy has bigger calves. I think this guy might have, you know, more prominent knees. You know, Corey and Ryan get in there and they're like, this line from this costume is wrapping around the body this way. It needs to be wrapped around the body this way. So yeah, I mean, it's the show, the game, everything. We're making sure that it's 100% an authentic experience for fans because we take all of this stuff very seriously and we want it to be as good as we possibly can make it. So yeah, does it mean that my inbox is an absolute graveyard of unresponded emails that get, you know, buried in a sea of approvals? Yeah, 100%. But you know, it's fun wading through that, and it's just every day. It's just a barrage of like, oh, you get to like see how this action figure's going, and we're doing this shirt, and here's this role-playing game stuff, and you get to look through all of it and make sure that it's you know, how you want it to be. And you know, in a world where, you know, Marvel and DC may or may not invite you to the premiere of the movie based on your thing, you know, it's really gratifying to know that you know, that we have the freedom to do this stuff and we have the seat at the table that we have anytime anything is done with Invincible.
And don't forget about the boomerang.
Yeah, we're making sure that the boomerang doesn't work.
Exactly. You told the story through the comic run. We're revisiting it now in the show, maybe live action at some point. Where does the game kind of fit in with your kind of vision of like telling this story of these characters?
I mean, I don't want to reveal too much. There's, I don't even know. Can I answer this at all? Yeah, I mean, you know, there's certainly a narrative component to the video game that you know, is an additive experience that you know, may or may not be connected to the larger world at play. I'm just saying things. I get in trouble every time I talk about the game because there's certain things we can reveal and can't reveal.
Sure.
So I would say stay tuned. But you know, we always try to make sure that everything we do has a narrative function, and because of the multiversal aspect of Invincible, there is a real cool way to connect things in a way that sometimes you can't really do. So yeah, there's a tremendous opportunity to do some cool stuff, and we'll see.
With the way fighting game systems have evolved to embracing like seasons, DLC content, and alternate skins, where do you see the Invincible game fitting in with seasons and DLC packs? Do you think it will embrace that format when it comes out?
Probably too early to say. I certainly know that answer. I just don't know if I can answer it. But I don't know. I mean, I'll leave it at that. I don't know. Is this going poorly? Is everyone angry? I don't know. Stay tuned.
Thank you.
It's not uncommon now for properties to go from one medium to another, to back to the medium, to a different medium, and sideways and so forth. Is there any consideration being, conversations maybe about, okay, we're doing Invincible versus the fighting game. What if there's an Invincible versus comic? What if there's an Invincible versus animated aspect to it?
Yeah, I mean, these are certainly avenues that are available to us. I mean, I could easily do an Invincible versus comic if I so chose. But that is, I think that is where the curation aspect of the overall Invincible universe comes from. Just because we can bombard people with all that stuff, we are, I think, very responsible in how we roll things out and what we do with Invincible. And I think that's a good example of, how we are responsible. We're not trying to do all things at once. We're not trying to bombard the fan base with a never-ending stream of too much stuff. While an Invincible versus comic would probably do well and would be a cool experience to go along with the game, it's nice that the game will get to stand on its own and it'll be its own unique corner of the Invincible universe, and we're not going to be doing too much stuff. So we try to be selective with our stuff, and I feel like that's the way to be.
During the panel, you talked about your choices behind the scenes of which books you have the beginning, middle, and end for versus allowing a little more free form.
Mm-hmm.
You talked about the return of capes. I was curious to know how you're approaching that one. Is this more of a structured story, obviously expanding on the original premise, but how far out are you, or what's the approach you're taking with revisiting these characters?
Yeah, I mean, I think Capes is very much open-ended. I think that one of the reasons that we're revisiting Capes is that, I did Tech Jacket, Brit, and Capes all within the same year as Invincible and Walking Dead. But it was, fairly early on in my career, and actually Tech Jacket and Brit kind of happened. Brit happened before Walking Dead, Tech Jacket happened before Invincible, and so my stuff hadn't really caught on yet. And sometimes I would think if I had just kept going with Tech Jacket, would Tech Jacket have lasted as long as Invincible? There's a chance that it could have. I just kind of gave up on it too soon because I was struggling at the time. And so we revisited Tech Jacket, and we ended up doing a total of 4 volumes of Tech Jacket. We revisited Brit, and we ended up doing a total of 3 volumes of Brit, but I never really revisited Capes. So, the idea is that it's open-ended. Maybe I'm pretty sure we'll at least get to 4 or 5 volumes. If people are loving it and it's a successful book, could be 100 issues of Capes, and it could be its own corner of the Invincible universe that tells its own stories and introduces its own characters and does its own thing. And there'd be some cool overlap of characters popping in and popping out, but it'd be nice if it ended up being its own book that could stand on its own, which I think would be a lot of fun. So yeah, I'm definitely writing that, with Benito and the overall art, and with the idea that it could continue for a good long time.
And then this will be the last one.
With fighting games in particular, players can kind of author their own experiences, make team-ups, make confrontations. What has surprised you about having people create their own team-ups, fights within your universe?
Yeah, I mean, without revealing too much, I think that one of the coolest things about Invincible Versus is that you get to have these very different characters that, and a lot of times, don't even interact in the comics or in the show, interacting in cool ways and fighting in tandem. And so there are some really unexpected combinations. You haven't really seen Adam Eve and Battle Beast interact in any kind of way, but you will get to see that in this game. And so, because of that, I think this game offers a unique experience for Invincible fans that will make it that much cooler of an experience if you're familiar with the world and familiar with the history of these characters.